5G, AI and IoT are converging to create intelligent connectivity, revolutionizing various sectors by enabling new applications and efficiencies. With 5G's high speed and low latency, combined with IoT's vast network of connected devices and AI's analytical capabilities are driving a digital transformation. Together, they drive innovation, enhance operational efficiency, and create new business models, marking a pivotal shift towards a faster, smarter, and more connected world. It's projected to cause a significant impact on the industry, the society, and even individuals by marking a new beginning defining by highly contextualized as well as personalized experiences. So to explore this vital topic further, we are joined by an eminent panel of industry experts to discuss on accelerating the future 5G, AI and IoT advancements. So let's begin. To kickstart off this discussion, let's begin with posing my first question to Dr. Harold DeCosta. How are these technologies, 5G, AI and IoT together transforming operations and strategy?
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, when you talk about AI, first it gives me blinkers to start off with. But when you talk about the AI, today I think AI has become a prominent part in not only in the professional environment, but also from the personal perspective also. When you talk about in terms of the strategy, I think AI will play a very important role in the decision-making process. And one of the most critical point what I envisage is that the type of the data what we collect to come to any conclusion or to come to have any derivative. We talk about supervised data, we talk about unsupervised data, we talk about empirical data. But when you talk about having a strategy to be based where the decision-making process could be simpler by using some AI algorithms and tools, it's very important for the quality of the data to be envisaged. And that quality of the data to be envisaged has to be authentic, reliable, accurate, and potentially viable for an organization to take any decision. When you talk from a 5G perspective point of view, and when you talk about AI integration, well, it's a place a very dual role. AI and 5G goes hand in hand. So when you talk about 5G, you talk about speed, you talk about efficiency, effectiveness. But when you talk about AI linking to the 5G, you talk more about the process by which the decision making becomes simpler. So AI with a combination of 5G together will involve or will evolve a strategy which will be helpful for better decision making process.
Thank you, so nicely described about it. May I ask Mr. Dhananjay Rokde to add something to this?
Yeah, sure. So 5G and accelerated networks, okay. So they are now putting us in a hyper-connected world. So this along with the integration of IoT, okay. So now machines that are talking to the internet, okay, which is something new. That is something that we have to look at from two perspectives, okay. So one is the productivity perspective and second is the risk perspective, okay.
Can you just take the mic a little closer?
Yeah. One, we have to look at it from the productivity perspective, and second, we have to look at it from a risk perspective. So communication options such as 5G offer high velocity microtransactions, okay, which are very good for production purposes, but at the same time they bring in a lot of risks because they are now connected to the internet, okay. Now when it comes to artificial intelligence, Okay. So unlike PDCA, which we are typically used to in an ISMS model, or everyone here knows about ISO 27001, plan, do, check and act, okay, which is a cycle. So artificial intelligence unfortunately doesn't work that way. It works in a OODA loop, okay. So it is observe, orient, decide and act, and it is a loop, and that's how this keeps learning, okay. AI also tends to generate biases, okay, so that is something that we have to be careful of. AI can be poisoned, can run into hallucinations. When I say a hallucinated model, it can simply go in for a best guess and that's it. So with these technologies that we speak about, okay, 5G and at iManEdge specifically, we work with a lot of defense organizations, we work with a lot of high-tech companies who are into SOC automation and CSOC automation right now. So we are still at the early ages where we are not ready for an AI to make an executive level decision. We are at a level where we can make an AI leave us with the best possible recommendation, and that is that. So that is my take on it.
Thank you. So moving on to my second question, what ethical challenges do you foresee emerging from the convergence of 5G, AI and IoT technologies? I think if Mr. Venkat can take this up.
Hello. See, let me ask a very simple question. Are we ready for 5G? Are we ready for AI? Let's ask all these questions.
Do you
Because
agree?
wherever we are using AI today, we are not probably using at the right place. I think health sector, defense, many other sectors where we need probably near decision making systems, as our colleague said. That is not happening. We are running AI as a hype, and many of the places we are using AI just for the sake of saying that we are using AI. So that now 5G coming in, the speed matters. In a very layman's language, I can say it's a speed. 5G is a speed. Okay, then AI, 5G, and your third option?
IoT.
IoT. All these three, I don't know what would be the outcome of this mixture, because there are threats all over. In IoT you have threats, in AI you have threats, and in 5G, because of the speed, how much control we have on that speed, that is also not known today. Many of the places it is being used, but in general, I think most of MSME, I come from that sector, I don't see anything really happening in that sector. So there may be a kiosk, or there may be another infotech session by VARINDIA to understand what are the problems we will be facing in that.
So to defy Mr. Venkat, can Mr. Nabendu say something? Defy what he said.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Well, to define, see, the thing is, let me first of all prescribe what I understand of this topic, and what I have worked, how much I have worked on. So, yes, 5G, what has been the difference, what is the difference, fundamental difference between 5G and 4G? 5G provides network slicing. So you can basically say different media types can go through different channels. That is the basic difference. Now what is the disadvantage? You need high power transmitters because they are only short range. They cannot support long range. Does 5G give you the capability of speed? That is debatable. Then coming to this topic of 5G with IoT, how many IoT devices do we have today? It's close to 5 billion. There are 2.5 billion different types of IoT devices. Now, let me tell you, I have lived in a different country for 15 years. I was in Singapore from 2009 to 2024. When I look at 5G, AI and IoT, look at smart cities. So I was a part of Oracle Smart City Development for Philippines, Meralco, Manila Electronic Railway Corporation. So the kind of smart cities that they are building, and when I compare and see it with the vision that we had in India many years ago, so we had thought of making 100 smart cities. I don't see any smart city. And that's basically very sad. It's depressing, but there is a huge potential because we have access to all the resources. Now, when I saw smart city projects, I saw self-driving cars inside the campus of NUS. I am seeing automation to the nth level in countries like Philippines, Thailand. I am seeing nth level of automation in countries like Indonesia. Now, why these smart city use cases? Edge computing. Edge computing means I have a very powerful CPU, GPU running on the edge, something like the Oracle roving edge, or an edge device that is mobile, right? And I can connect thousands of devices to it, right? And I can monitor the ecosystem, and I can run the inference models, highly trained inference model, both classic AI as well as generative AI models. Now, when you're talking about generative AI, there are 6 types of generative AI. When I'm talking about classic AI, there are like inference models which can be RNNs, CNNs. There can be inference models which can be VGG16, ResNet. So I can deploy them, I can get those information, I can make real-time decisions. Which all industries? Aviation industries, logistics, supply chain management, and security. In fact, even retail malls, I can define you an experience, EV cars. Now, what did Singapore government do to increase adoption of EV cars? It introduced and infused smart city use cases like self-driving EV cars which can do self-parking, right? And you can just hold off your hands from the steering wheel once you read, and they will go and find a slot, your best slot, and they can and they can auto park themselves. So definitely there is a lot of potential, but the thing is where and how to find those use cases relevant to India and to which parts of India. When we say smart cities, to build smart cities, we have to have that capabilities of provisioning those equipments, sensors, routing this information, feeding them into our ERP systems or into our decision information management system to make this relevant and productive.
Thank you. So my next question is, Dhananjay, it's for you. In the era of hyperconnectivity and intelligent connectivity, what are the expected top cybersecurity risks according to you, and how can they be addressed?
Well, in a hyper-connected environment, there are a lot of threats. Privacy. A lot of things have been spoken about privacy. There is the classic hook and bait that works everywhere. Any message comes into you, and you can classically, get. And then there is a digital police thing that happened right now. Digital arrest. Sorry. So there are a lot of threats. IoT devices are less secure. The reason being, there is no standard security protocol that is put in place when it comes to connecting and transferring of data. So when I say data needs to be symmetrically encrypted, channel needs to be asymmetrically encrypted. I'm talking about TLS, SSL standards. Now, talking about those standards, that needs to be addressed. The threats can be like somebody can spoof your cameras, somebody can steal your data, somebody can do a malicious activities like, for example, conduct an espionage, corporate espionage, which can bring down your systems for elongated periods of time, and that can cost money, that can cost time, that can cause reputational damage. So all these are quite possible. So you have to understand there is IT, there is OT, operational technology and information technology. There is an intersection between OT and IT, and that OT and IT intersection is very spurious. So it can be your building management system, which can be hacked into, and I can go all the way to your data centers, right? And I can manipulate all your data from there just by gaining access from your building management system or from your SCADA system. I can bring down your entire electricity grids, right? or I can go and even crash your plane. So that is quite possible. And these kind of espionages, I mean, you have seen that Israeli attack where they, just every mobile phone became a bomb, right? So, I mean, that is quite possible. And this is all because IoT devices are very less secured. There are no standard protocols. Everybody builds their own IoT devices. Some runs on Intel, some runs on AMD. So it's quite, so these challenges are quite real. Thank you.
So, Mr. Deepak, your take on this? How do you address this?
Yeah.
Please
audible?
welcome Mr. Jaspreet Singh, partner from Grant Thornton Bharat. Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, sir. So let's.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
So first of all, I want to thank you to VARINDIA for providing this such a platform to share my views and discussion with my peer. And cyber security risk on AI are large. It is a two-sided sword. So when we are using AI in cyber security, the malicious actors are using more than or before than the defenders, right? So now you can see there is a huge number of increase in phishing emails. So the systems, those are basically made previously to detect phishing emails. And previously phishing emails were like, they were spelling mistakes and they were, a lot of things that systems can easily detect. But now phishing emails are like that it is not easy to predefined system to, detect them. So this is one thing that is, major, I would say is risk, because if you see most of the, not most, but 70 to 80% of the attacks where credentials were compromised through phishing emails. So that is one thing that, creating with noise in the industry. Second, the kids, those basically do not know cyber security or programming, and they are using or creating malicious malwares or other things with the help of AI. When it has become a weapon like everyone's hand. So previously only talented people who were having good knowledge of programming and other things, and they used to create malware and then they used to attack on the environment. But now means it is very difficult, like every here and there, and even sometimes people do in fun also. Like you can see that WannaCry, the guy who detected WannaCry, he detected WannaCry in fun, and finally he got arrested, right? So this is these are few risks.
Thank you. So as Mr. Jaspreet has just joined, let us hear from him. So my question is, how is AI shaping the future of work, enhancing threat detection and security intelligence?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Apologies for being late. Very, very pertinent question, right? I think Deepak mentioned a bit about it. Today, all of us are trying to understand what is this AI world and where is it going to take us, right? I think if I were to take a just step back, 2 years ago, there was a front cover of the New Yorker magazine in US, where actually robots were walking and humans were begging. Now, if I add that to what does AI bring from a threat detection perspective or from a malicious actor perspective, the question I think everybody should be answering themselves is about, is it cyber for AI or AI for cyber, right? I think every organization today is grappling with that question. And statistics are, if I'm spending $1 on adopting AI, right, I'm spending probably $2.50 on stopping attacks that are generating from AI. So why not put more money in AI in threat detection? And sorry, I'm probably the only one from a consulting perspective here on this table, but ask any of our fellow CIOs, CISOs, if they would know how many AI engines are being used in their organization today, and nobody can put their hands up and say that, I know everything. So threat detection from that perspective is becoming impossible. How do you detect what are the threats that are coming towards me is as strong as the gate that the Fortinet or the external parameter that I want to secure, right? As I tell a lot of people, I think we are living in a borderless world. Today, you don't know by just opening one small application or downloading an application, what are the risks that you are exposing your organization to. So if I look at prevent, detect, response, I think till about 2-3 years ago, the entire threat detection piece, the detect piece, was where a lot of money was spent. 18 months ago, it started moving to protect, or 2 years ago, it started moving to protect and detect. I think if you look at where the investments will come in, I think response will probably get even more budgets or even more investment will go in, and that's where the entire threat detection piece has to move to AI.
Deepak, anything to say?
Yeah. So Jasprit said very good, like this is the thing that we are facing nowadays. But I want to add few more things that, like, AI is not a tool now. So it's a teammate now. Like, if we talk about that we are not having AI in cybersecurity, we can't work nowadays.
Yeah.
Because previously it was like people were doing lot of analysis in, for example, in SOC, they were using different algorithms or anything to analyze the threats. But now AI, like multiple, or I think almost all the security tools are using AI. And with the AI, we are able to detect threats early stage. And now we are becoming proactive from the responding perspective. So it is helping us a lot. And it is also helping us to, remove the alert fatigue, which was basically false alerts previously used to have. And it has bring down lot of, I would say around 5 to 10% from 90% alert fatigue. So now we can utilize. Now we can utilize those time to use or strategize or work on some other work which can be more valuable to the cybersecurity teams. Right?
But just 30 seconds probably to add what Deepak said. I think AI is also being misused.
Yes.
With due respect to all vendors, everybody, all consultants also sitting here, including myself, you walk into any meeting and you hear the word AI, right? If I'm sending an email to somebody is replying, people are saying this is AI working. Sorry, we have to define what are the use cases for AI. As Deepak said, understand the organization first. Understand what are the AI use cases in cyber. Everything in cyber cannot be AI. There is antivirus which will run the way it was running 30 years from now also. Firewalls will keep doing its job. AI is wherever you are giving capability to either a software or to an agent, whatever, to ingest data and self-learn. So we'll have to look at various use cases rather than, it's like 10 years ago, you go into an organization, walk into a board of an organization and they will say, let's move to cloud. Nobody had an idea what to do on cloud, but because all my competitors were moving to cloud, let's also move to cloud.
Very
Doesn't
well
help.
said.
Doesn't help.
Thank you. So, Mr. Harold DeCosta, can you just tell me some specific examples where the integration of AI and IoT powered by 5G has made a measurable impact?
I think first I want to, I'll take something from Deepak, because there was something which is left from the legal perspective.
Thoda sa aur.
Yeah. So when you are talking about that risk point, because I work in that domain, and when you talk about a risk, we still have a legal framework which is very fragile. That's something I think when we talk about AI, when we talk about a lot of technical jargons, I think the legal framework has to be set in place. That's something which we are lacking. That's a very big risk. Number two is that when you talk about any risk and the mitigation steps, I think as CISO and CIOs, I think first and foremost, we have to be holistic, and there should be a process of cyber drill to be taken place. I think today what happens is that if at all I want my system to be checked or audited by a third party, the first vulnerable person is me. I will not allow. Because if I do allow, then there will be some weaknesses which will be coming out of it. I think that holistic mind has to be there in place, that every system has got some lacunas, some shortcomings. And I think that positivity has to come within the CISO, CIO framework, that yes, there is something shortcomings. I'm telling you, from a judicial perspective, if there is something, a threat, it's very difficult to quantify and make the law enforcement and make the judiciary understand that I'm not responsible. There are some certain points in the legal framework. I'm not saying that we don't have a complete, a legal framework which is not at all there. There are. But those points, if we understand from a CISO and from a CIO perspective, and we have something, a AI tool, and if that AI tool doesn't give the result, what was expected to be given, and which results in some certain unauthorized access or a hacking or some malware to be injected, and if at all I am an intermediary, the law says that I am responsible for that act. So under this point of view, if there is any threat which occurs because of any AI being malfunctioned, then the CIO and CISO are responsible for it.
Yeah.
So I think that has to be taken. That's security risk what we are talking from a cyber angle has to be quantified first from our side, and then going forward we have to be protected. That's why the legal framework has to get changed. The CIO and the CISO also has to be taken, they are human beings, and therefore that particular framework also should help the fraternity, such as the risk mitigations can be done in a holistic manner, and then we talk about AI, cyber security, risk all in place. So that question what you asked, Deepak, I was little tempted to take that question from him, and Jasprit spoke both from the technical, so I said let me add little legal tadka to it, So that's what I'm sorry, I took a little part from you,
So Jasprit, you want to add or
just
define?
30 seconds on.
Yeah, why not?
30 seconds on what he said. Great point. We have a legal framework. Good, bad, I'm not the right judge about it. I think enforcement probably could be much better. And that is why if you see, especially in the West, after Uber and SolarWinds incident, it's public case study, Uber's CISO is now actually facing a risk that he might have to serve time in prison, right? And that is why a lot of CISOs are now actually taking indemnification there. But from our law perspective, like you rightly said, unfortunately, today all our laws point fingers towards CISO. Now imagine you are a CISO of any mid-market company even, somebody sitting in a remote corner in the office can open his laptop, spring up an AI model, and you don't need an LLM, you can make an SLM also and upload your company's data on top of it. Very sorry, CISO can't do anything about it. And tomorrow, you can't come and just hold CISO by the neck. At least that's what I feel, right? I think, and AI, unfortunately, except Europe, which has a now EU AI Responsible Act, I don't think so the entire world's still clueless, right? It's very early days on where will it take us. The last point is on the responsible use of AI. I don't know how many people saw this, but there was a photograph of Pentagon being attacked. About 2 years ago, there was a photograph on a Wall Street Journal website saying Pentagon's been attacked and the Pentagon's been destroyed. For 3 hours, the US stock exchange felt like crazy. But they could detect that it was a deep fake and they stopped it, they removed it. Imagine Kumbh Mela and a photograph like this happens. Do we have the wherewithal, technology, process, awareness, understanding to stop it? I don't know.
So true. So Deepak, what measures are you taking to ensure infrastructure resilience?
Good question, Mohini. So definitely, it is not a choice now. Especially, if you see recent incident, for example, supply chain attack, cyber attacks. So we have to have measures in place to keep infrastructure running in case there is any attack or any wrong things happening. So there are multiple things or multi-angle that we have to work on this. I can start with the basics. So whenever we are building an infrastructure, especially any critical infrastructure, it has to be in high availability, and it has to be segregated in geolocations also, so that geography also can be taken care of. Then it should be today you will see a lot of attacks are happening due to identity theft. And if we talk about 2024, it was a identity theft year, right? So most of the attack due to identity theft. So I would suggest, or we are also working aggressively, zero trust, where all access is strictly verified and only authorized and verified users can go to the right asset access. So this help basically, to mitigate or keep users those are not authorized outside the net. With this, there is one more thing that we do, that micro segmentation, right? So what happened, like you can't stop incidents. That's why we are having resilience in place, right? So in case there is an attack, and that will be, no one can say 100% or guarantee to the cybersecurity incidents. So that will happen. So we can at least mitigate, or I would not say mitigate, but we can contain in a minimum. So we can contain the blast radius of any attack, right? Now let's come to that. We are saying the cyber drills, right? So that is one very critical part. Doesn't matter what we have, but there must be cyber drills. There must be business continuity drills, and where we can check that the measures, the procedures, the technology that we have for resilience are working or not. And this should include all people, process, technology. And I would also add that the vendors or the third-party partners, those are there in the organization, those also should be incorporated such drills. So, and again, it's not a tech problem. Cybersecurity resilience is not a tech problem. So it is a shared responsibility of everyone, and we need to communicate with all the stakeholders. So these are a few measures.
Dhananjay, do you agree with whatever Mr. Deepak has said?
Yeah, as far as resilience is concerned, yeah, definitely. Okay. But one thing what we are slightly not talking about here is that IoT can actually take lives today. Okay. It is a very serious matter. In a hyper-connected world with 5G and 6G soon around the corner in some countries and then in India. Okay. So, for example, a conveyor belt can control by an ERP. A conveyor belt in a remote factory controlled by a production manager sitting in a tier 1 city, okay, can actually kill people. Okay. So, there are those safety hazards that have to be taken care of. Now, you spoke about smart cities, right? And there are no smart cities in India because there is another problem that we have in India, okay, of sustenance of these cities and this infrastructure. Now, for example, I spoke about that the PDCA doesn't work on artificial intelligence. OODA works. Okay, so observe, orient, decide and act. Now, orientation creates a bias. Okay, so let's say if you actually have a truly smart factory, okay, and you have a smart CCTV surveillance system, safety system, accident prevention and monitoring system, and you have rails and you have mapped everything and color coded everything, but there is let's say a forklift that is traveling, and then there is a human being that is coming, from, and they are going to basically intersect at one point. Okay, so think about it. The AI is going to have a bias. It cannot save both. Okay, two things. Why? One, it has got same day delivery pressure. Okay, if the AI doesn't do that, which means it has to stop the forklift. Okay, Second, it has to save a human being's life, which means it has to stop the human being. So, like I said, this technology still has a long way to go, okay, till it reaches an executive decision phase. We also spoke about zero trust, very interesting. So we are doing this at a CSOC level. Now, zero trust is a security principle. Now, there are so many, I mean, I don't want to name anybody, but there are so many associates here who sell products which support the concept of zero trust, okay? But zero trust cannot be implemented by products alone, okay? The principle of zero trust remains that every individual has to be treated as an adversary, okay? Has to be re-verified and then trusted. Has to be trusted every time it crosses into a new zone, okay? Do you want an AI to make that decision for you? Should your model hallucinate at that point, it can be a disaster. Has your model learnt enough? Has your model learnt enough to run, let's say, a core banking application or a manufacturing ERP? Have we gone to that level? So I think there is still time, but yeah, there is definitely 5G, AI, IoT, this trio is going to be very key coming 5 years. But on the maturity curve, again, AI and agentic AIs, I would say there is a long way to go.
Thank you, and I believe this is a very vast topic to cover many things, but we try to do a bit of it. So let's wind up with this because we are running out of time. So these cutting edge technologies are revolutionizing industries through real-time connectivity, smart automation, and powerful data insights. I believe you all agree with it. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us in this session.